Hey guys, it's Bree. Welcome back to #BSB. So before we jump into this video, I want you to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and follow me on Instagram @SincerelyRare. Now in my last video, I talked about what I specifically look for in a business school because after my Columbia review, I noticed a couple red flags and I thought it would be a good idea to talk in depth about what I specifically look for in a business school and elaborate more on those red flags. So in this video, I'm going to jump back into my business school segment and talk about my experience at Yale's Spring Ahead event hosted by Yale Women in Management. So let's jump right in. Now, what is Spring Ahead? This event gives female prospective students an opportunity to get a glimpse of what Yale SOM is all about, meet and greet with other women around the campus, learn more about SOM's integrated curriculum, how Yale is global and closely integrated with the rest of the Yale community. Now, how does one attend this event? Just like with Columbia, I was already subscribed to their emails, so once I got a notification about this event, I immediately registered. Now, just like with the Columbia event, RSVPs do run out. So if you were to find out about this event a little later than everyone else and RSVPs were closed, you would join a wait list, and once someone un-RSVP'd or canceled their registration, you'd have an opportunity to claim your space. Now, the one thing I do have to give Yale a kudos about is they tried their best to accommodate out-of-towners. Now, as a Brooklynite, I wasn't one of those people that they accommodated because they had a small pool of current students offer up their space to house a few Spring Ahead attendees that were traveling from far. For those who weren't selected to be hosted by a current student, they did give out a list of nearby hotels and discounts being offered at those hotels to students who needed overnight hospitality, and they also put together an attendee list, so if you wanted to pair up with someone, you could do that, so you wouldn't have to cover the entire cost by yourself. Now, on to my experience at the Spring Ahead event. The first day consisted of 2 class visits, also a current student happy hour, a happy hour with the current students, and also small group dinners. So once you arrived, you received the classes that you'd be sitting in on. A survey is sent out prior to the event, so you can rank which classes you're most interested in. For the 2 classes that I got strategic communications and also international entrepreneurship. Of the 2 classes, my favorite was the strategic communication class, mainly because it was very interactive and I love interactive courses. And even as a visitor, the other prospective students along with myself, we were all able to follow along and join in on a lot of the activities that were put on during class. Now, the international entrepreneurship class was a little harder to follow. The class is also a 3-hour class, and they were knee-deep in a case discussion that they had been studying and working on for a couple months. So because we didn't have access to that case, it was very we had to really pay attention and really dive in to try to understand exactly what was going on in the class. A lot of us were a little distracted. 1, because the class was 3 hours, and 2, because we were looking for the perfect opportunity to leave the class so that we could take part in the optional campus tour. Now, because this was my first time on Yale's campus, of course I decided to take advantage of the campus tour, and honestly I didn't want to sit in that 3-hour class and not know anything that they were talking about. So it was a perfect opportunity for me to just get out. After the campus tour, we went to a self-funded happy hour where we were able to converse with other prospective students as well as current students who were affiliated with the Spring Ahead program. After about maybe half an hour to an hour, we were broken up into our small dinner groups. In my group, there was about 5 prospective students to our 1 current student. We went to a nice Cuban style restaurant that I really enjoyed. Now on to Friday. Friday was the main event for Spring Ahead. Thursday was more so for people who were able to come to the event early, who were interested in sitting in on the class, getting a tour, and also getting that one-on-one time with current students. The main event and the bulk load of activities that was going on occurred on Friday. So on Friday there was a continental breakfast, there was a welcome, there were intros, there was the Women in Management panel, there was a negotiations course put on by a current professor, there was small group lunch with current students of WIM, which is Women in Management. There was an application session put on by admissions, and also a faculty chat, which was a session put on by another current professor, and then the closing reception. So hopping back to the WIM panel, which was made of current MBA students, the highlight for me in that portion of the programming was that one of the current students admitted to taking the GMAT 5 times. When she said that, my jaw dropped, because I'm like, why would you take the test 5 times? I mean, like, she's in Yale now, so I'm obviously it's worth it, but 5 times? Wow. At the time I didn't really understand why she opted to take it that many times, but going through really knee deep in my GMAT journey outside of the rest of my B school journey, I understand why it took her so long to get that score. I'm praying I don't need to take the test that long. Honestly, if I feel like it's going that route, as I said in my past videos, I'm just gonna switch to the GRE because I do not want to spend any more money on the GMAT. Going on to the negotiations class, I really appreciated and enjoyed that section of the programming. It really highlighted a few things for me and brought some things to light, and also made me realize that I should have negotiated for my current position at WebMD, but I did not. I would be a lot closer to where I want to be at this day and age 2 years later if I had negotiated up front. Moving on to the small group lunch with more current students, the conversation was very typical. We got to get to know the current students that we were paired with, and also get to know some of the prospective students that were in our group that we hadn't conversed with before. After the lunch, however, a handful of prospective students, including myself, we got to talking to one of the current students that was in our small group lunch, and she kept it real with us about the Black community at Yale and how small it was. She had informed us that to date there was only about 14 African American students enrolled in the MBA program at Yale SOM. Those numbers, that number really shocked me, because it kind of makes you think it's okay, are they not applying? Or well, take that back. Are we not applying, or are we not getting accepted? Which one is it? That's definitely something I'll have to look into, because Yale is a great school and I would love to go there if things work out, if that's where I'm meant to be, but I need to know why our presence is so low at Yale SOM. Now, after the small group lunch, there was an admission session. Admission sessions are always the typical admission sessions. They tell you what's required. They give anyone advice on who has questions. I typically have stopped asking questions when I go to these admissions panels, because literally everyone tells you the same thing. And by now, I'm about 3 years into this journey, I know what their requirements are. With the closing reception, we got a little more time to connect with current students, connect with alumni, connect with the 2 professors that gave presentations during the class. Unfortunately, the closing reception was cut short for me and a few other people who were commuting from New York, because we were trying to catch that 6:30 Metro North train. We had all decided to catch an Uber together. I want to say there was about 4 of us that opted to travel together to the train and take the train back to Grand Central together. So yeah, we left early, what we thought would be early enough to get us there on time. Unfortunately, there was a lot of traffic, so we ended up missing the initial train that we wanted to take. We had to sit around at the Metro North station in New Haven and you know, sit around for like 2-3 hours waiting for the next one. But overall, my experience at Yale's Spring Ahead event was great. The campus is beautiful. From what I saw with the classes, the professors are great. The current students are very personable, very relatable. Yale community in a whole is very, very open, very welcoming. That's something, as I said in my last video, that I really look for, really consider when pursuing or wanting to add a school to my target list. So as of now, Yale is still on my target school list. I just will have to do some background digging as to why people who look like me are not that represented on campus today. Now for the next episode of #BSB, I'll be talking about my experience at Kellogg's Women's Leadership Conference. For those who don't know, Kellogg School of Management is Northwestern's business school. So make sure you tune in. In the meantime, if you have any questions about my experience at Yale, if you've attended a Yale Spring Ahead event or a Yale recruiting event and you'd like to share your experience, put it in the comment box below. Make sure you like this video, give it a thumbs up if you haven't already. I really hope you have. And also subscribe to my channel. Make sure you tap the bell so you get notifications on when I upload a new video. Till next time, bye guys.